What up YouTube, this is Woody coming back with another ride review. Today we are at Ride One Power Sports in Springfield, Ohio. I'm getting ready to ride the Suzuki M109R 1800 cc's. It's a pretty cool bike, There's a little different things that I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about how this thing slopes down so far. And I'm not crazy how the rear end looks, but this bike's supposed to be beastly, so we're getting ready to ride it. I think I seen 128 horsepower and 118 foot-pounds of torque. I think is what I seen on it. Turn the key on. It's a big one. Look how wide it is. Look how wide it is. It's so wide. So wide. All my experience on cruisers has been Harley Softails and one Road Glide. Woo! Hard in a second. Oh, it feels good to be moving. Jeez, I've been sitting there for a minute waiting for a ride. It's getting warm out now. Super wide, knees above the tank. Let's start off by telling you how big I am. I am 6'1", 200 pounds. I got about a 36-inch inseam, and this doesn't handle that bump too bad at all. These big heavy bikes are a little intimidating, but you get a turn or two and then you figure out they're not that bad. It feels huge though, and super wide. I gotta tell you, I do like forward controls. Anyways, my knees are about, not quite above the tank, but they're right there at the top. This is super comfortable. Legs out in front of me. I like it. I like the comfort. The seat is about as wide as the tank is, so that's super comfortable. You don't get a whole lot of info on the dash. You got speedometer down here, tack up there, which is weird. You know, second gear. Why wouldn't you have the speedo up there and the tack down there? The roll-on power is awesome. Nice and fat bars. I like these fatter bars compared to the sport bikes where they have those real thin ones. I like this big fatter bar. It's easier on your hands to grip onto one of these than those smaller ones. I think the smaller diameter bars are what they play a factor into getting to cramping up your hand and stuff. Let's see, hands about straight out from my chest. Pulls my shoulders up just a little bit. When I'm setting up straight, legs out in front of me, it's comfortable. With that big tire on there, it's not terrible to lean in, but you do have to push it a little more than you do, obviously, one of these bikes here. sound. It's got a good rumble to it. This is the kind of bike that I need for my next bike. A power cruiser. I feel like that's where I want to be at. I don't want to, I mean, I'm coming from a sport bike. I'm not it's not a crazy fast sport bike, but I'm coming from a sport bike. So I think a power cruiser is where it's at, where I'm going to want to be. Comfort and still have some power to it. That's what I want. I want to still have power. I mean, I don't want to just go from my sport bike and my next bike be a cruiser bike that's slow, you know what I mean? And then you end up getting bored on it. I mean, I could cruise all day long in third gear right now. We're going about 55 miles an hour. I'm up in fourth gear, but I don't need to be. It's kind of a long, boring route, but it gets you a chance to ride the bike. It's not going to be an outstanding ride, but it's a chance to get on a bike and test it out, make a video. So the first couple of rides I did here, we would turn down that road right there, and it goes around that airport, and it's a couple of curves and stuff, and it was a lot shorter ride, but you gotta feel how the bike is in the turns. And one thing I say about some of these bikes is if they lock you in place or not. Some of the bikes you get on, you got a little wiggle room. You can move around a little bit on them, and if you get comfortable or uncomfortable sitting in the same position so long, you can kind of move a little bit and readjust yourself. This is one of those ones where you're sitting on a slope and the back of the seat has a raise to it, so you just kind of set right in that, and you're not gonna move around too much on this bike. I mean, that's right here is it. That's where I'm at. There's no moving around. I can kind of readjust, so I'm leaning forward or to lean back a little bit, but scooting forward and backward, no. A little bogged down, but not bad. I'm in fifth gear, 2.5 grand. Still got a little bit of pull. It's still got a little life left in it. This is definitely my style. They're nice and comfortable, just cruising, drag bike. You can just rip it from stop sign to stop sign. Still getting the curves just a little bit, but you're not gonna be like dragging me or nothing like that. Not even close. But it's comfortable and it's still fun. That's what I'm looking for. Comfort and still fun. So if you don't follow my channel, I do a lot of ride reviews. Today I've rode the GSX-R 1000R. I rode the GSX-S 1000F. I rode the DRZ 400 SM. I rode the SV650X, which is a sweet bike. Not a bike that you can take on a long ride, but it's still a cool bike. It's got clip-ons instead of bars, and it's kind of like a cafe-esque look to it. It's a pretty cool bike. And then this one, I think this is gonna be the last bike I ride today. I wanted to try to get on Hayabusa, but I don't know. Depends on what it looks like when we get back. I don't want to steal chances from other people to ride. So this is the 5th bike I've rode today. So I don't know if I'll be able to get on that or not, but I got plenty of other ride reviews on my channel as well. A lot of Harley Softail ride reviews, sport bikes, a lot of nakeds. I rode that new Duke 790. I've rode the 1290 Super Duke, R1, R6, tons of ride reviews. So if ride reviews are what you're into, you should definitely check out the channel. This year I feel like I've done more ride reviews than I have actual vlogs, but that's what does the best on my channel, so I gotta stick with what helps the channel out. I don't understand where these people learn how to ride that you're taking a left or a right turn, so you're squeezing in right to turn right. I don't know where they learned that. Should be starting out wide, coming in, and then going back out. I don't know if this thing's self-canceling or if I turned that off myself. I don't know if I did or not. It doesn't dip in too bad. It really doesn't. Everybody always talks about these big rear back tires and hard to dip in. You gotta push it over a little more. It's not just gonna fall over like a sport bike, but it's not supposed to. That's not what it is, but it's still a comfortable ride, and it's fun to ride. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. You just got to give it just a little bit more input, that's all. It's not that big a deal. We're coming up on Yellow Springs up here, Yellow Springs, Ohio. You guys probably don't know this, but Dave Chappelle, the comedian, is actually from Yellow Springs. Him and his family live here. They also own a second house in Xenia, Ohio, which is like 7 miles from Yellow Springs. That was a park right there. They got a lot of parks around this Yellow Springs area. It's kind of a hippie town. They got cafes and little shops and stuff like that. It's a cool place. If you're from this area, you should definitely go check it out. We took our kids there a couple years back. I don't remember how long ago it was, maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And even our kids, they had fun. Being little, they still had fun there. They enjoyed walking through the park and stuff. It's a cool bike. It is a cool bike. It's got a cool factor. I don't know, it's just when you get on these muscle bikes, these power cruisers, like, they've just got this cool factor. When you get on a sport bike, you just want to go fast. You feel like you got to race everybody on the road, you know what I mean? You got to go fast everywhere you're going. On here, you don't feel that way. You just feel cool riding. And you're still having fun. I gotta say, these Suzukis, the turn signals, these cheap stock turn signals they got on there, they're not bad. I did a demo ride on Yamahas, and when I was on the demo ride, like, you could see just going straight down the road, just driving straight down the road, the turn signals are just wobbling, shaking like crazy, bouncing all over the place. These ones, I don't see them doing that like those Yamahas do. I have to tell you, I got off that the DRZ 400 SM, and I was kind of disappointed. I don't hate the bike, but it was just, for this ride, it just was boring. It just was. But this is not the type of riding that you want to do on a bike like that anyway, really. Just have that single cylinder screaming all the way down the road. Alright, I'm going to turn this on. We'll see if this is self-canceling or not. It's not very smooth in second gear. It is not. There it is a little bit. You really gotta have throttle control. It's not gonna turn off on its own. Torque monster. Torque monster. I don't know if there's like a 2-up seat you can get for this bike or not, though. As far as I could tell, it's just made to fit one seat. I mean, this is a single seat, single rider seat. I don't know if this is, you can get a 2-up seat for this bike or not. I have no idea. Going over the gauges, I see you got your fuel and your time and the odometer. You got hazard button. There's no oh, here's some menu buttons. You got your trip 1, trip 2, odometer. 1,231 miles on it, huh? Let's see what this does. Probably zeroes out trips. Man, you run the RPMs high on some of these Suzukis and it gives you a false neutral going into second every time. The DRZ did it, and now this just did it. I try to do a first gear challenge on some of these to see what a top speed in first gear is, where red line is, but we hit 51 and I shifted, and I think that was pretty close to red line. This is there's the places around here I get to ride here in Yellow Springs. People are traveling to come ride on these roads, but I've never been on them. So, but they're supposed to have some nice twisty roads right through back there. If where we turn right, if you turn left, it'd take you right into Yellow Springs. A little old school hippie town. The grips are cool. Kind of confused by why the tach's up here but the speedometer's down here. I mean, I can look down my nose at it without having to move my head, but it just makes you turn your head down. Cool bike, cool bike. There's a little vibration in your butt and a little bit in your hands. Like right now, 3,000. Take it to 5th. Just a little over 2,000. Super comfortable though. The pegs are long. You can move your feet out a little bit, bring them back in, prop them up on there. Still a little bit of vibration right there. About 54, 55 mile an hour. But even if I take it down to 4th gear, I only gained a couple hundred RPMs and I'm still, the vibration's still there. I feel like this bike is one of those bikes that you're not gonna get a whole lot of customizability out of it. You might be able to switch out a couple odds and ends, kind of just sleek it up a little bit, like turn signals and stuff like that, but like paint job. But I don't know what you would do if you wanted to like change the bars or something like that, because I've never seen nothing like this before ever. Not that long. Or I mean, that it's tipping back like that. Because they kind of come up and they come straight back. It's weird. Weird, weird, weird. Big junkyard. Anyways, we're coming up to the end of the ride now. We're going to be coming up here, take a jog over to that road, and then take one more turn, and then we're going to be back to the dealership. Like I said, it's a pretty boring ride, but it's a chance to ride. Definitely got some power. It's a little narrow road. Getting a little poppage going through there. A little sputtering. The whole bike, when you do that, lifts up. Feels like the whole bike comes up when you do that, when you get on it a little bit. All these riders. I wonder if you could add self-canceling turn signals on this. These bumps kind of upset the bike. Kind of a crappy road. Definitely a crappy road. ZX10. That looked like the ZX10 SE, I think that's what it's called. That's what that looked like with the green, the matte black and the green. I think that's what the only one you get that color in. It's kind of twitchy in first gear rolling on, but every one of these Suzukis that I've been on is like that. A little jumpy in second gear. This guy needs to work on his throttle control. He's only 17. He's not old enough to ride any of the R's or anything like that, but he's been riding long enough. He's had his endorsement long enough that he was allowed to ride that, but he's only like 17, so he's not too smooth leaving the stop signs. Clutch control he's still got to work on. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. If you ain't subscribed, please subscribe today, and I'll catch you on the next video. This is Woody. Peace, and I'm out.